So, if you don't know, every year for the past couple years, I try a new streaming service. And the reason I do this is because there are so many TV shows out there, and I really want to try to broaden my horizons and try to watch things that I usually wouldn't have the chance to without getting a certain streaming service. So that is why for the past couple years I have been trying out a new streaming service every year just to give it like a little taste test and see what they have to offer, and maybe if it's a streaming service I would want to add on to something I would watch regularly. So this year the streaming service I decided to give a chance was Amazon Prime or Prime Video. So I usually have my two main ones, which are Netflix and Hulu. Those are the ones that I go to the most, that I'm always watching new TV shows from, but I always throw in a third, and that was Prime Video for this year. At the very beginning of when I started this, I did try Prime before, but I never really committed to it or give it a chance as I did other streaming services. So kind of after that year, I kind of evolved how I would be doing this kind of project of trying a new streaming service every year and making sure or trying at my best to get shows on my watch list that kind of forced me to try out a streaming service and give it an actual chance. So this year I actually did give Amazon Prime a chance, and here is what I thought. Okay, so one of my rules for trying new streaming services, or I should say one of my goals, is trying to watch 5 TV shows from that streaming service. And I do try to get some originals, but it can really be a mix of original content or just things they happen to have on their platform. So for Prime this year, I had watched 6 shows. The first show was Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which I watched at the very beginning of this year, and I absolutely loved that show. So this show is kind of like a spinoff of the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, but kind of a different take on it. So I was interested in this because I saw that Donald Glover was in it, and so I would definitely want to give it a watch, and I loved the movie, so I was interested to see what they were going to do with this show. So in the show, it's basically 2 agents that don't really know each other, and they are forced to do missions together and be a married couple. And so we kind of see throughout the season what their relationship looks like, from being strangers to having to act like a married couple and perform certain missions for their mysterious boss. So if you're an action lover, I would definitely check this one out. And you can go see my review as well for this show if you're interested in my thoughts. Okay, the second show I checked out was Monk. I am a huge fan of Monk. I really, really love that show. And I saw that it was on Prime, and I was like, I need to rewatch this. So yes, this is not an original to Amazon Prime like Mr. and Mrs. Smith is. So this show follows Monk, who is a detective, and he helps out the police department. He is OCD, and he does have a lot of phobias. So that does cause some complications when he's trying to solve cases. But I also think is one of his best assets as well, because he pays attention to things that other people might not, or they could pass right by it. But Monk, because of his attention to detail, he sees things, and this does really help him solve cases. Okay, the next show I took a look at was Maxton Hall. This is a Prime original, and this show is kind of like a high school drama, and it follows kind of like the poor girl and the rich boy and their enemies, and then they're kind of put in a situation where they have to work together. And then after that, we kind of see how their relationship blooms. And I'm a sucker for a romance, so this was the perfect show for me. I also did a review on this show as well, so if you're interested in knowing my full thoughts and opinions on what I thought of Maxton Hall, feel free to go check that one out as well. Okay, the next show I took a look at was My Lady Jane. So this is a period piece / fantasy and romance as well. I enjoyed all the things in this show. So this show follows Jane, who is forced to marry Lord Guilford, even though she does not want to be married at all. And then eventually something happens to her cousin, and she is named Queen. So she's trying to balance all of this, and we kind of see the journey that she goes on and what eventually happens to her. So yes, I also did a review on this one as well. And if I didn't mention already, this is also a Prime original. Okay, the next show I checked out was Harlem. I actually didn't finish this show. I only watched the pilot episode. And this show is about a bunch of friends who are kind of just navigating their lives in New York City. I was really excited to check out this show, But unfortunately, I just didn't love the pilot, so I decided to end it there with this one. Honestly, comedy is a hit or miss for me. So when I was watching this, I was really trying to get into it, but I think it just wasn't my typical comedy style, so I just didn't enjoy it. But this does have 3 seasons, and it is a show that I have heard a lot of people enjoy. So if you do like a comedy, I would say go check it out. And the last show I checked out was So I Married an Anti-Fan. So this one I started but have not finished. I think I'm a little over halfway. But basically this is about, I believe, a K-pop star and his anti-fan. And they end up in a situation where they both decide to go on a show where anti-fans of stars try to find a middle ground and actually like each other. So I'm currently enjoying the show. I'm interested to see what I think when I finish, and hopefully I can get to this by next year. But yeah, that was the last show I have watched on Prime. I would have to say, after trying the streaming service for a year, I was pleasantly surprised. I was shocked at the amount of content that I actually saw on here that I enjoyed watching and wanted to come back to the streaming service to watch. Especially the shows I mentioned. I believe about half of the shows I checked out were new for this year. Comparing this to my previous experience with Prime, there wasn't a lot of things on there that I wanted to watch. And then now trying it kind of again for real this time, there were so many things on this service that I really wanted to see. I was excited to see, and I kept coming back. I do have to say, out of all the streaming services I have tried, this one has been my favorite, and I do believe this one as well. I have found the most shows and movies on this platform that I actually want to watch and really excited to watch. So I only did watch 6 shows from this platform, but I also watched a lot of movies on Prime as well. So for Prime streaming service, I had to refresh my memory, so I went to check out how much pricing is for everything. I pay for Amazon Prime for the year, not just Prime Video. And so included in Prime are a bunch of things. So you get Prime Video, you also get the free shipping with certain things. There are books on Prime Reading as well that are included with this. I believe Amazon Music and probably some other things as well. I don't know 100%. I would say go look on their website and you can compare what they're offering with Amazon Prime as a whole. So I pay for Amazon Prime, and as I'm looking on the website, as I'm recording this right now, it is $14.99 for the month and then $139 for the year. But if you don't want all that, you just want Prime Video, it looks like that is around $8.99 for the month. Just in case things have changed since I have recorded this, I would just go double check their website, but the prices are probably around that range that I just mentioned. And I decided to do Amazon Prime instead of just Prime Video because there are other things that Amazon offers that I do use, so I decided just to get the whole package and try it out and see if it was worth it to me. So after all of that, is this a streaming service that I'm going to continue with? And I'm leaning more towards one side, and currently I'm leaning more towards a yes. I think I will include Prime in my current rotation of streaming services. So that would mean I would have Netflix, Hulu, and Prime. And I think since I'm going to have a third streaming service, I might stop it there for trying a streaming service for a year. And if you're shocked, let's say no one is more surprised than I am, because I really didn't think Prime would convince me to keep it for another year. And again, I'm thinking I'm going to go this a year by year basis. We'll see if next year I continue to watch the same amount of shows on Prime as I did this year. I definitely will make an effort and try to continue watching 5 shows from this streaming service. But I do think I might be keeping Prime moving forward. I have tried so many streaming services in the past couple years. I've tried HBO Max, I've tried Paramount Plus, and I've also tried Apple TV. And I think as of right now, Prime might be the one that has won this challenge. And I wasn't really necessarily looking for a third streaming service to add on, even though it was a possibility. But we'll see how I continue to go on with content for the next couple years. And if Prime will continue to be a streaming service, I will want to watch. And if for some reason it isn't and no longer appeals to me, maybe I'll start the trying a new streaming service for a year backup and try some other ones that I haven't. Or maybe give some other ones a second try. So after making this decision, I'll be going on a pause from any additional streaming services because I'm just going to keep it to 3. But if you guys have other streaming services that I'm currently not watching that you suggest that are worth giving a try, leave them in the comments below. I would love to see what platforms people are using. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll try them. Not next year though, because a girl doesn't need to go broke watching TV. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will link my website below and also the Binge Miss playlist if you guys are interested in more content. If you guys want to check out other videos where I tried a streaming service for a year, I'll link some of those down below as well. Feel free to check those out if you're interested. You can like, subscribe, comment, or you don't have to do any of those things if you do not want to. You can follow me on socials. It is at ATS_MGO on all platforms. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, week, month, and hopefully a good rest of your holiday season. And until next time, bye.